Garrett, it's time to bring out our guest.
Oh, I'm very excited.
I'm very excited about this. So, she was on an amazing show called Full House, but now they're bringing a revival back. Well, they have, and it's on Netflix, and it's called Fuller House.
Huge hit.
Huge hit on both. So we're going to bring her out right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Jodie Sweetin! Wow.
Which is a lot lower than I was expecting.
We used to have it on stilts, so it'd be at the same level for our camera, and then we had an actor on, and he fell off of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll take the slightly lower couch.
I believe it was you, wasn't it?
The actor was me, so.
So welcome to the show, Jodie. How
Thank
you doing?
you so much. I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic.
Awesome. So I'm going to start off with a quote that you said.
Oh, boy.
I know.
Okay.
And this is the quote, and I love this quote. You say, when people come up to you, they're like, oh my God, you're not 11 anymore.
I think that was actually Abraham Lincoln, but we're gonna. No, yes, people do have sort of a strange reaction when they realize that it's been like 20 years since Full House has been off the air. Mm-hmm. But now with Fuller House coming out, I think it's, they've seen enough of me growing up that they realize I'm no longer a child.
So what's it like on the new show?
We're having so much fun, and the fans seem to really love it. We get to have fun and go play at work every day with people that I've known since I was 5 years old. So it's a pretty amazing experience.
I know you were saying that because of your work on Full House, you guys have sort of become a family doing that show.
Yes.
So coming back, was it like almost like seeing old friends that you haven't seen forever?
Absolutely, and the really nice thing about the family that I've gained from doing Full House was we never really stopped spending time together in the past 20 years. Mm-hmm. So people are always like, oh, was it like seeing old friends that you hadn't seen in a long time? I'm like, well, I actually see them kind of all the time. Mm-hmm. But throughout the past 20 years, we've been, we've stayed in really close contact. So it was fun to kind of come back and get to create all this again.
So when they pitched you the idea of doing Full House, were you obviously were excited to do it again, but was it kind of like, because the show had ended, original Full House had ended when you were 13? Mm-hmm. So for you, were you excited to jump back into the show again? Was there any hesitation?
I think, we just wanted it to be able to bring back something that the fans were going to fall in love with the same way they did with Full House, and really have that same feel to it that Full House did, but do it, with a little bit more modern feel. I mean, you can't quite get away with some of the overly saccharine things that Full House did, now. Mm-hmm. And it's still a family show. We're still something that, parents and kids can watch together. But there's every once in a while there's some edgier jokes that are kind of thrown in there that go right over the kids'
Which
head.
show do you feel was edgier, Full House or Fuller House?
Oh, Fuller House for sure. Yeah.
Do you ever catch yourself going, oh my God, I can't believe my character is saying that now?
Yeah, there's some jokes that, at table reads and stuff, I'm like, yes, let's try and get away with that one, and Candace kind of looks at me terrified, like, are you really going to try and get that joke on the air?
Stop pushing the writers to
write
that.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely, I think it's a little more fun to, sort of push the envelope. Our fans, most of our fans are our age now. They're adults that are, having their kids watch the show, so we don't want to be too cliche.
Of course.
What we do. But at the same time, it is Fuller House. It's, we're not making House of Cards.
I know.
So as much as I'd love to, we're not.
Full House of Cards.
Fuller House of Cards.
Fuller House
right.
of
No,
Cards.
we're not pushing anybody in front of a train or anything like that. So.
Do you ever catch yourself while on set being like, because you're doing so much, like you are married, you have lovely kids.
I'm engaged.
Engaged,
yes.
My apologies.
That's okay.
And you have lovely kids, and this is a lot of work to take on a prominent role that's not only remembered by a previous generation who's watching again, but you're now opening Fuller House up to an entire new generation of viewers. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. I have days off, and I was just talking about today, like I feel guilty sometimes when I'm just laying around my house doing nothing, which is rare. But I have this show, and then I have a show on Pop Network that is going to be airing sometime in 2017, early 2017.
Oh, awesome. What's that about?
It's an unscripted comedy with myself and Beverly Mitchell and Christine Lakin. So it's sort of a hybrid of like sitcom and reality. It's not like any sort of Keeping Up with the Kardashians drama type stuff, but it's sort of real life situations, but heightened versions of ourselves and really fun scenarios that we're getting to kind of play with. And so we're doing that as soon as I wrap on Fuller House in a couple weeks. And then, I've got a bunch of other stuff coming up in between, so
awesome.
life is busy.
What's the future, outside of, the one on Pop, what do you want to keep doing? Or do you want to get into development of doing your own stuff?
Yeah, I have, my fiance and I right now are working on writing and developing some ideas that are definitely not Full House and Fuller House friendly sort of shows, but they're really great, fun, interesting ideas, a little bit darker, a little bit more adult, humored and dramatic type stuff. So, that's kind of where I see myself really, is getting into, writing and development and producing and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because as much as I love Full and Fuller House, it is definitely not the extent of, what I want my career to be.
And I also feel like for any actor or writer or producer or director, once they create a body of work with other folks, they want to create one of their own, because you have been in the limelight on a major show. Not only Full House was huge, but Fuller House is huge, but it's like huge sitcom network shows where you're seeing every stage of the process, from conceival to writing to directing, etc. And so you're like, I can do this.
Yeah, well, I don't know that I think I can do this, because most of the time I'm riddled with fear and insecurity, but
you should have a career in comedy.
Right, then I'd really be insecure. No, but I just feel like I have a lot of creativity that I want to be able to do and want to be able to express, and like I said, a lot, as much as I love Full and Fuller House, I want to be able to kind of do some of the things that I find a little more interesting and relatable. Do
you feel like there's anything from the character that you play on Full and Fuller House that you've taken and put into real life, or anything that you find that you really appreciate about what you do on the show? Because I feel like for your character in particular, as with the entire cast, you guys are like an inspiration, and your fans love it because it's something that's so relatable. And so do you ever find yourself going oh, I've learned this, or I appreciate this about what they've written for me?
I think actually, especially now on Fuller House, the writers have really taken a lot of our input as to who we want the characters to be and kind of where we want to go with things, and some of the things that we're involved in, like music and stuff like that, they've really incorporated into my character, Stephanie. And, I feel like, I don't know if it's life imitating art or, art imitating vice versa, but I think that Stephanie and I have a lot in common, and I think that it's sort of who I was as a kid that they really kind of picked up on and created for Stephanie, and then that's just kind of continued on, and they've really sort of melded, a lot of my own characteristics and dry humor and wit and all that stuff into who Stephanie is as an adult.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's great.
That's really awesome, actually.
Thank you.
I'm like, that is such a prolific quote.
Well, now next time I come back, now you have another quote.
I know, exactly.
You can paraphrase.
I do have a question, though, for you. And it's from the good people at the Fuller House podcast.
Oh, yes.
I was on their show this week because they're here. They're very excited.
Yes,
where are they? Here they are.
Hi. I'm talking to you guys later this week.
Yes, and they had a question from Michelle at the Fuller House podcast, who says, what's your favorite thing to do off set?
Oh gosh, my favorite thing to do off set. Well, I'm a mom of two kids. I have two daughters who are 8.5 and almost 6. So it's probably doing anything like spending time with them, which is really hard when you're kind of working full time on a TV show. But yeah, I'm just spending time with my kids and my family, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, and going to Disneyland. I'm a huge,
I love Disneyland.
Huge Disney freak.
What's your favorite ride?
Haunted Mansion. Yes. I love
during Christmas time. It's so good.
Christmas time is great, but the Cars ride is my new favorite, which is amazing. So yeah, I'm a huge Disney nerd, and
my favorite is Thunder Mountain, only because I'm like the entire time.
Like you want to scream, but it's not really exciting enough to scream. Or
I'm terrified. Yeah, and that's the best part, I think.
Of Thunder Mountain?
I think so. Jodie, we were talking, and you were telling me that you are really, really good at pop culture and celebrities and stuff, correct?
I said that?
You did say that.
Wow.
I know. We were texting. She's like, I'm really good at pop culture stuff. And I'm like, what is this number? Unsubscribe.
Right,
and then I was like, oh, no, that's Jodie Sweetin.
Yeah.
So, but I thought.
It was the dick pics I sent, wasn't it?
It was the dick pics.
That was really, I'm sorry. Crossed the line.